people that I know have been a part of it. Senator Rose,
Perfect.
anybody else that's speaking here today, keep in mind that they're all trying to fight for our freedoms in the future. And that's what's really the key. I mean, I think back just a couple of years ago thinking that I never really had planned to go to Congress, but I was so concerned about the future of our children and our grandchildren and thought we have to make a difference, we have to make a change. So the one thing I want to make sure you remember today especially, and I keep telling people, there's a very important number today. It's 205. And you look at me and say, what's 205? Well, it's 205 days between now and the November 6th election. And that's an extremely important time. Because over the next 205 days, we have two choices to make. We truly do. We have a choice, and you know, in 2010, I thank all of you so much for allowing me to go down to Congress and serve you and represent you. We went down there and we took over the House of Representatives. And most of you remember, is that's only one, if you go back to your government classes, that's only 1/3 of that federal government. What we were able to do was we were able to put a stop to the policies that our president was, the Democrats in Congress were taking our country. We're able to put a stop to it. And I know there's a lot of people now that say we want to turn it back. But just think about that. In 205 days, you will all have the opportunity to help us turn it back. Washington, it's an amazing place. I've been there 466 days. I can tell you, they love to regulate. They love to get involved, in every part of our business life. They've gotten involved in, they tried to get involved in cap and trade. They've tried to get involved in multiple regulations. It's pretty interesting. I always try and write down some statistics. The current administration has more than 3,100 new regulations in the works, with more to be added every day. 170 of them expected to have 100 million or greater negative impact on our economy. Just think about some of these things. The Small Business Administration study found the current regulations add $10,585 in cost per employee. These are just amazing statistics that we have to continue to deal with in Washington. And don't forget, it's your U.S. House. The Republican-led U.S. House has passed a number of regulations, a number of pieces of legislation to attempt to stop this. When you hear people say the Do Nothing Congress, it's really amazing, because I'm not sure how many more pieces of regulation we can send over to that Senate and have that Senate do nothing with it. So, when you hear people say the Do Nothing Congress, we hear it all the time from our president. Isn't it amazing that the President of the United States, he can't stand up on a podium and talk about what he's done for us. He's got to keep talking about everybody else. He's got to keep talking about the Republicans in Congress. He's got to keep talking about things we've passed. The problem is, what he should start doing is getting on the phone to the Senate and asking them to start taking up some action. Now, we passed the budget this year, and of course you hear the members on the other side, they want to use that against us. I always say, if you got a better idea, let's see it. The problem is, they don't want to bring a budget. And remember, when they had control of the House, they didn't pass budgets. The Senate hasn't passed a budget in over 3 years. Do you believe that? And people ask me all the time, what can we do to help? You know what you can do to help? 205 days from now, you can help all of us. You know, we talk about energy. We talk about gas prices, and people say, wow, the gas prices are going up. But we have a president who says, well, those Republicans, all they're going to talk about is drilling more. But you know what? If you think about it, how many people realize that the more supply we have of anything, just like natural gas. How many people are happy with the natural gas prices that have come down? Why have those natural gas prices come down? They've come down because we've increased supply. But you know what? That's great. Pull back that curtain, and you're going to hear me say this for the next 7.5 months. When those people start talking about, when the people on the other side start talking with their political rhetoric, I'm not used to political rhetoric, I'm used to facts. When they start talking about political rhetoric, pull back. When the president says we're drilling more than we've drilled in the past 4, 6, 8 years, right. Think about that. Ask him how much, why would he use the lowest time in the last 25 years to do a comparison? That's what they do. They use comparisons that are wrong. We need to be able to bring American oil, American gas, American energy. That's what we need to continue to grow, increase, all of the above. American wind, American solar. But you know what? Let's get the government out of it. Because if you think about it, we've got some real smart people out there that are willing to invest their own dollars. I did it 28 years ago. I invested my own money to get started. But why would you ever invest in wind and solar when you got the federal government sticking their nose out and giving dollars to Solyndra and all these other places that don't deserve it? When they stay away from those kind of things, American ingenuity will grow. And that's what we need to do. Let's talk about taxes. It's interesting. I can't. Isn't it amazing? We have the president and the other party talking about things like the buffer. But when you talk about the buffer, you talk about how much even the change of the buffer will affect the deficit. I think it's 17 days, 15 days, I don't know the exact amount. What I'm telling you is, let's quit talking that political rhetoric and let's get some things done. That's what I believe this president needs to do. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a tax problem in Washington. I've been there for 166 days now. We do not have a tax problem. We have a spending problem. And shame on anybody asking anyone, and I mean anyone, to send any more money down to Washington until Washington learns that they can't just spend everything, waste it. Let's straighten out what's going on down there first before we ever start talking about raising and taking more money from all of us. As I travel the district, people are so concerned about things back home. But let's leave those dollars here. Let's quit sending them to Washington. Let's quit sending them there where they're wasting them. We need to clearly look at the direction. 205 days. When I tell people we all need to start lunch tables, dinner tables, family tables, wherever you're at. That's what's so great about you being here. Don't be afraid to start talking about the country, what's going on, how much we're spending. And if you need help, call me. Come see me. Because what you'll find out about me is I'm going to try and give you all the facts. I'm not going to give you the political rhetoric. And together, we, all of us, can change the direction in 205 days. It's extremely important. 205 days, we need to send a signal. We need to send a signal to Washington that we're done. We're not going down this direction anymore. We're not going to continue to take things for granted. I'm just going to give you some numbers. I know we're out at the time, but just think of some of these numbers. 45.4 trillion total federal spending proposed by President Obama's fiscal year 2013 through 2022. $45.4 trillion. 25.9 trillion projected federal deficit in 2022 due due to the president's binge spending. This is from the OMB on 2/13/12. 15.6, the current national debt. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. I got involved because I am concerned for my children, your children, my future grandchildren, your grandchildren, your future grandchildren. We cannot continue to put 15 we have today and any more debt on our children and grandchildren. You know what each one of your share today, your grandchildren's share of the national debt is today? $50,587 per person. $16,168 is the increase in your share of the national debt since the president took office. Again, folks, it's amazing for me after 466 days what I found in Washington. I found a place that wastes your money, believes they know more than you, believes that they understand the better way of doing things, and believes that you are not paying attention. And my goodness, as I look around at all of you here, I believe you are paying attention. Now, but you have to promise me, I need your help. Again, in 205 days, I need to help your help in changing the direction of our country. I went down there, not expecting to do it by myself, but really expecting and knowing that all of you would be with me. In 205 days, we have an election, even I have an election, between myself and someone who is 100% opposite me. 100% polar opposite. 100% who believes that the President Obama's plans, spending binge, all those things are good for this country. But I know one thing. I know one thing. All of you know a lot better. You do. So what I need you to do over the next 205 days is not only help me, but let's help make sure that we can turn this country around by talking to people, by getting out to the ballot booth, by making a difference, by not being afraid to talk about facts, to eliminate that rhetoric and fiction, and let's make sure that we can change our country's direction in 205 days for our children and our grandchildren. Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Congressman Jim Renacci, everybody.